Hi everyone, MeleeKirby here, and I am going to do yet another impressions vlog style thing for Ubisoft. And the original plan was to upload the Ubisoft conference, of which I livestreamed that night. But as it turns out, there has been a bit of a shitstorm when it comes to Ubisoft letting people livestream their conference on YouTube. So if you haven't heard about this, basically, and I'm not going to spend too long on this because I want to get into the actual thing, as it turns out, if you live streamed the Ubisoft conference as opposed to Square Enix, Microsoft, what were the other ones, Bethesda, EA, like even EA, even though I didn't stream EA, if you streamed the Ubisoft one, they would not only flag your video, they would not only block it worldwide so nobody could watch it, they would basically revoke your ability to stream on YouTube. And I am still pissed off about this because now I can't fucking stream. I couldn't stream Sony's conference and I can't stream Nintendo's conference today. So the last couple conferences will be on the Twitch channel. If you want to find out about where that is, you can check the link in the description. I hate saying that because I don't want to feel like I'm advertising shit. You know, like if people want to check stuff, they can check stuff, but since this is a very weird scenario that I find myself in, I have to say that. So yeah, that's what's going on with Ubisoft. But nonetheless, I'm going to try to not let that put a damper on my conference experience, because I will tell you what I thought of it. I can't upload the conference itself because I'm kind of worried that this is going to happen again. So until then, I'm just going to upload this video, which is the impressions. I'm going to go over what I liked, what I didn't like, what were the weird things. Ubisoft kind of has this, they kind of have a bit of a reputation? Yeah, they've got a bit of a reputation, let's say that. That they have become a really cringy E3 press conference. This year though, not so much. But they did start off with Just Dance 2019. As to be expected, it's something, like I said with EA and their sports titles, it's something that they have to advertise because it makes them money, it's something easy. And the Just Dance thing was basically just a bunch of people in panda suits just dancing on the stage with like a musical number. It was weird. So yeah, that's probably the cringiest thing out of the whole thing, and it was nice that they got that out of the way super early so that they could move on to the real content. The next thing that they talked about was the big game that they ended with on last year's E3 press conference, which was Beyond Good and Evil 2. Brand new CGI story trailer, which looks pretty decent. No gameplay shown during this, it was just to show you some of the characters in the worlds. I've never played Beyond Good and Evil 1, but I've heard it is a really good game. At least I've heard it's a cult classic among people who have played it. But this new trailer and the concept of this new game has me interested. It looks pretty good, because they did show some pre-alpha footage, although for some reason the camera was zoomed out, so you couldn't properly see it, but you could get a general idea of what the game is going to look like. I don't think this game's going to be coming out for a few years yet, because this is technically behind closed doors footage that they briefly shown. Or rather, they briefly shown the footage of what is going to be behind closed doors gameplay for like members of press. So it's not like it's going to be on the show floor today or over the next few days. You'll have to be in the higher ups and the members of press to actually get access to this one. So it looks like they're not quite ready to have everyone play the demo for it yet on the show floor. Maybe next year they'll do that, but not right now. They announced a weird collaboration with, I think it's called Hit Record. It's like an online collaborative website where people can kind of work together, sort of collaborate, come up with ideas, assets, music, graphics possibly, maybe some ideas that they can kind of work together on and maybe implement into the game. They're going to be doing that for this game in particular, so that's kind of interesting. They're going to be doing that for Beyond Good and Evil 2. I was trying to remember the name there for a second, I keep forgetting it. So I'm not sure how this is going to work. It reminds me of when Capcom were trying to do Mega Man Legends 3, where everybody was effectively working together as a community to try to come up with ideas and like concepts and all sorts of stuff for that game. Sadly, that didn't go anywhere, as we all know now. Hopefully this doesn't get scrapped as a result of this open community aspect. I kind of like this idea that they're like trying to reach out to the people that they're aiming to sell this to. So I could only see good coming from this. Next up, they talked about something Siege. What's the title of this one again? Trying to find the name. Rainbow Six Siege, there it is. They just talked about that for a couple minutes. Not much, they were just saying how good of a community is and how people are really into it and the esports scene continues to thrive. Just general stuff. It's not really something that I'm interested in. I once played that game. It seemed alright. I'm not sure if it's something I could get into. I'm not really an esports person either, so this part didn't really interest me that much at all. Next, we talked about Trials, the new Trials game that's coming out, and it's called Trials Rising, I think. Yeah. So it's just another Trials game. I've dabbled with one of the Trials games. I forgot which one it was. It was on Uplay actually. I think it was Trials Gold Evolution, something like that. So when I saw the trailer for this, I was basically saying to the chat that I'm pretty sure this was not going to come to Switch. It was going to be on every platform but the Switch. But as it turns out, at the very end they announced that it actually is coming to Switch, so that is a pleasant surprise. That's good. That's a good get for the system. Technically there already is a Trials game on Switch, but it's like a kind of a B tier Trials game, maybe even a C tier. It's not like one of the mainline installments. So I think I'll hold off and get this one. This one comes out early next year, February 2019. So yeah, that's something to look forward to. Next, they talked about The Division 2. More stuff that they didn't show from the Xbox conference, which is good because the Xbox conference had a lot of stuff and some of it got recycled in other conferences, so it's nice to see that they talked about some other aspects of it. Again, like I said with the Xbox conference, I didn't really play The Division. I wasn't really into that game, so I'm not sure if this will really interest me at all. But it seems like they've got a better roadmap for the game this time around. They confirmed that the first year alone will have 3 major expansion episodes, and all of it will be free content. You won't have to buy into this. So it looks like they're doing things way better this time. It's based off of that. They didn't say what they're doing beyond year 1, but I'm pretty sure this is what is going to be the general idea of how things are going to go going forwards. It will be like maybe 3 episodes a year for like the first 3 years of the game. As long as they can keep the game frequently updated and actually make it good and less buggy, I think people would be alright with that. Again, not sure if I'll be buying The Division 2, but I'm pretty sure some people might be happy with the news. Next, they talked about Mario plus Rabbids because there is a Donkey Kong DLC coming out, which is apparently a 10 to 15 hour expansion campaign where you play as Donkey Kong accompanied by Peach Rabbid and Cranky Rabbid. They didn't really talk much about the DLC itself. This segment was basically just a bunch of people playing music from the game, or specifically the music from this expansion, and I thought to myself, oh god, here we go, time for some more cringy, shittily performed music on stage, which can totally go away. But actually, it turns out that Grant Kirkhope was on stage, and he was the one composing. So I was like, alright, I'm fine with that, because Grant Kirkhope, first of all, is fucking awesome, and Grant Kirkhope, he can compose anything and it will be gold. And it actually was a really good tune that came out on stage. So props to him for somehow managing to get on. I don't know how he managed to do it, but he managed to talk with Ubisoft and maybe Nintendo to get this to happen. So I'm happy for him. Like, I'm glad to see that he actually got this opportunity and flexes his composition muscles, as it were, live on stage no less. Next, they talked about, I think it was that pirate game, Skull and Bones. Yeah, they're talking about Skull and Bones next, and This game, they briefly teased last year. I am kind of interested in this one, actually. Because I do love a game with like a pirate/nautical theme. I just like pirates in general, I don't know why. So, from what I understand, this is basically Sea of Thieves, but potentially done right. For people who do not know, I wanted so badly for Sea of Thieves to be good, but it turned out to be kind of the opposite. Like, it wasn't terrible, it was just devoid of content, and the player base just dropped like fucking flies. Like, there was just no reason to hang around beyond the first week if you had Game Pass. So, this looks like it's building on the mechanics of Black Flag, the Assassin's Creed game. I've never played that game, but I've heard the naval combat in it is really good. So if they took that and made that the foundation for this game and built upon it, then I could see this being really good. As long as they can get the games as a service thing. And I said this about E3, I hate games as a service on principle. But if they can do it right with this, if they can do this right by this game, then I think I'm okay with it. It looks like it has more potential than Sea of Thieves, and given how Sea of Thieves kind of failed in my eyes, I really want this game to succeed and pick up the slack where Sea of Thieves failed. So yeah, really, really hoping. Like, they had a 5-minute demo as well, showing you general aspects of the game, and it looks good. I look forward to hearing more of this. I think it's coming out next year. Next up, they had Elijah Woods talk about like some sort of VR game, and I'm not going to talk about this really because this didn't really interest me. It was like VR, but it was also like FMV, full motion video. I don't really know what to make of it. I'm not really a VR person, so even if I was interested in the concept alone, I wouldn't play it anyway because I do not have a VR device. So I'm not sure what you guys think of that one, but it didn't interest me at all. Next, they talked about Starlink, a game they teased about last year, where it's like, I think an open world adventure space game where you can fly around. The first thing that was drawn to me immediately by this game, just looking at the trailer that they've shown, was that it has an almost uncanny resemblance to a certain other infamous space flying game called No More Heroes, what the fuck? No Man's Sky. That's what I was trying to say. It looks like fucking No Man's Sky, but it could be good. The gimmick of this game is that you have a little plastic mount that you put onto your controller, whether you have Xbox DualShock or the Switch controller, and on that mount you place a little toy spaceship onto it, so it's kind of like a Toys for Life thing. And as you play the game, you can take little pieces of the spaceship on and off to augment it with different abilities. It sounds weird, but it sounds kinda neat at the same time. My biggest concern with this is the fact that you have the little spaceship there on the controller. Like, will that get in the way? Will that kind of act as an unnecessary counterbalance to kind of make it feel weird or heavy or what when you're holding it? I don't understand. Like, I don't know if that's going to be the case, but I like the concept. It seems pretty cool, and it seems like there's going to be a good story in here as well. But then they kind of had a curveball announcement after they shown the initial trailer, and this gave me a bit of a double take, because the next trailer, one of the characters of Starlink was like in the spaceship getting a distress signal from his communicator. And the next thing you hear from the communicator is a bunch of garbled sound effects, and I immediately recognised those. It was the Star Fox sound effects when they talk over the communicator in the SNES game. And I was like, no way is that surely that can't be Star Fox. And as it turns out, yes, this is Star Fox. It is a crossover. They've got a crossover thing going on with this for the Switch version. So basically, you can play in the R-Wing, you can play as Fox. I'm assuming you can play as the other members of Star Fox. And I'm not sure exactly how this is going to work, but this is really fucking cool. And I'm sorry to say this, but I already think, despite the fact that this is not even out yet, I think this is an already better game than Star Fox Zero. Like, I really didn't like that game, and I think this looks quite interesting. They also had Miyamoto on the stage as well to kind of talk about how cool it was to collaborate with him yet again. If people didn't remember from last year, Miyamoto was also on stage talking about Mario and Rabbids. So it seems like Ubisoft, Nintendo and Miyamoto have a really good relationship going on right now, and I do hope this opens the gate for more work between the two, because I think when they collaborate they really hit it off and it's fantastic. Next, they talked about For Honor, and to be honest, I thought the community for this game was dead, because I remember at first it was kind of thriving and then it kind of dropped, but I'm not sure if this is still being played by that many people. But they did announce that For Honor is getting a free weekend as of yesterday, actually, for the whole week on Uplay. And the really cool thing is, if you decide to download the free weekend version, you get to keep it for basically forever. So after the free weekend period has gone, you technically own the full game in your Uplay account. So I jumped onto Uplay, I added it to my library, and now I own For Honor. So I've not played it yet, but this seems like a really cool idea to get more people into the game. Basically give the dwindling community a much needed shot in the arm. But I think this is fantastic that they're doing this. Bethesda did something similar last night with Quake Champions, or the night before Ubisoft's. And I think this is only a good thing, because this is getting me to get the game, and it's going to get a bunch of other people to get the game as well. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if people who are still playing the game will start seeing more people playing it this week, and hopefully beyond. They did announce like a new DLC for it as well, coming out later this year. So time will tell if the community will still hold up that long, because it's like October it comes out. So next they talked about The Crew 2. I remember playing the beta for the Crew game, it seemed alright. The first game, I think it was just cars in an open world environment. This one seems to have a multitude of vehicles, so you've got cars, you've got motorcycles, you've got speedboats, you've got planes. This one looks like it's upping the ante quite a bit. So on that alone, it seems interesting. There's going to be a beta for it on June 21st, so I might look into that. I'm looking forward to seeing what this game might have to offer, and I might try out the beta. It's coming to PS4, Xbox and PC. So if I like the beta, I might be inclined to buy the game. And then finally, to top off the whole thing, they had a good 10, 15, 20 minutes at the end of the conference focused on their next Assassin's Creed game. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is the name of this one, and it takes place in ancient Rome, Greek times, I think. And it looks pretty good actually. It looks very polished. It looks like there's a lot of work put into this one. The combat looks like it's been revised heavily as opposed to the earlier AC games. There's some cinematics, there's some mechanics that they show in the middle. They talk a bit about their inspiration, how the whole thing was like kind of like worked on, just like all the usual like press conference stage talk nonsense, but it seems like a good game overall, and I might be interested in this one. I've only played Assassin's Creed 1 and a little bit of Assassin's Creed 2, so this might be a game I'll be looking into. It looks pretty good, but I'm not sure if I'll end up getting this game, but consider me interested. It comes out this year, so I might look into this one. And then that was it. That was the end of the conference. They wrapped up by having every single person that was previously on stage come back on stage, which, to be honest, I kind of like that. It's kind of like, you know how when a stage play finishes and you see like all the actors come on the stage for like a standing ovation? It's kind of like that, but it also feels like a nice... It feels like Ubisoft have... Also, you might hear a little bit of noise in the background, I apologise. There's a bunch of noise going on outside. But it feels like a nice little sense of like unity between Ubisoft, like all of their people coming together when they're talking about all this stuff. And it's really cool to see that. Like, you don't really see that kind of personal level with the other conferences. Like, the other ones, they just end with just a single person kind of wrapping things up. This one, it was just like everybody on stage at once, and you can clearly see that as funny as Ubisoft can be sometimes, they do have a heart as opposed to EA and maybe Activision. So yeah, this was a pretty good press conference, all things considered. It wasn't as good as Microsoft's. I think Microsoft has blown it out of the water so far, and this is before Nintendo, so I don't know what to say about them yet. But this was way better than EA's by a long shot. I think it slightly outdoes Bethesda, maybe. It's kind of hard to tell. Like, Bethesda and Ubisoft are kind of neck and neck, it feels like. But I quite liked this. I thought this was good. There was some good announcements in there. The Star Fox thing was fantastic. The new Assassin's Creed looks pretty good. Skull and Bones looks like it's coming along great. The Trials game on Switch. Lots and lots of good stuff here. Very, very little cringe, surprisingly. So, yeah. Consider me impressed. Good job, Ubisoft. You did good. Other than the whole fucking YouTube content ID banning me from streaming on YouTube thing, you did good. So, thank you guys for watching. I tried to keep this as short as possible, but this is basically my impressions. I don't know if I'll ever upload my recording of the live stream, because like I said, it's been blocked around the world for some no discernible reason, and I don't want to risk my channel getting in any more trouble. So with that, this will be all I'll be uploading for now, and by the time this gets uploaded, I think I'll have streamed Nintendo. Maybe I'll get this up before Nintendo. It's not for a couple hours yet. So if it appears before Nintendo and you're listening to this right now to pass the time, check the description for my Twitch channel. In fact, just check it anyway, because right now I cannot stream on YouTube because of this whole Ubisoft fiasco with me live streaming their conference. So it's twitch.tv/MeleeKirby85. Links in the description, and that's about all I'm going to say. So thank you guys for watching, and I will be posting the rest of the conferences in the next day or so. So see you later, and take care. Bye.